What's up, y'all? I am so sorry. My internet, I'm upstairs in the attic, and maybe it's just hot. I have no idea. I've tried this twice, but that's no here nor there. I have a special guest with me today, and we're going to talk about Patriots, and we're going to wind down the division series. I have a special guest. I'm just going to let him introduce himself. It's the Patriots, y'all.
So I go by the name of Jay Mick. Pretty much been a Patriot fan my whole life. I was born and bred in Boston, so it kind of was born into me pretty much. So all my family is Patriot fans from like my, from my mom to my brother, my dad, grandparents, cut like everybody. I think I come from one of a kind of like unique situation where no one in my family is really not a Patriot fan. So yeah.
Really? So you
Yeah.
got a long generation of Patriots fans. So you, all right, I like it. That's like Buffalo, like the Buffalo Bills, like a long lineage of Bills fans.
Yeah, I think Buffalo and Boston are a lot similar. Like it's obviously cold during the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
Like Boston's not a huge city like Buffalo. It's a good sized city. Like there's a lot of diversity in my city in Boston. A lot of black people, white people, Asians, Europeans, or Caribbean or whatnot. So like it's a lot of diversity. So I think, and Buffalo. I've been to Buffalo a couple times. So cities are quite similar. So
for sure. So let's just get into it. New England. It's had an up and down season last year. You led by Drake Maye. In an article I've seen someone compare him to Taylor. The ceiling of Taylor, or not the ceiling of oh my God, Lance, and then the floor of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. Talk to me about his first season. What was your thoughts about Drake Maye's first? Drake Maye.
Drake Maye. Like going into the season, like pretty much most of the calmer heads on our fan base was like, he's not going to start the season. Because obviously we brought back Jacoby Brissett, who we drafted when he came into the league. So I can only speak from my perspective. Like I didn't expect him to play early in the season. Like I kind of like looking at the schedule, I was like, our first month was pretty rough. So I was hoping he didn't get in till mid-October, early November. And pretty much that's kind of how it played out. Like he didn't get in there in September. And then we had games against like the 49ers and the Bengals. Which is a game that we won, and I thought we would win going into the season because like the Bengals don't play good early in the season.
Right.
But the one point that most Patriot fans that know the team was concerned about was the offensive line. And so that's why we didn't want him to come in right away. We kind of wanted him to learn a little bit, and that's what he did. For the most part, like a rookie that, didn't really see the thing about Drake Maye. I don't want to say he didn't perform, excellent in college. He had a couple years at North Carolina where he excelled, and there was I believe there was a rough patch in there too. But for what the Patriots had in terms of offensive line being probably one of the worst in the league. If you look at pass block and run block, and we were 31st or 32nd in both. So my concern was I did not want to get the kid killed. That was my main thing. It's like I wanted him to play, but I didn't want him to get hurt. And thank God that's not what happened. He got in there. He was good for the most part for what I expected.
Right.
And full disclosure, I wasn't really a Drake Maye guy. Like I wanted to draft Jaden Daniels. That's who I wanted to draft.
Gotcha.
And he kind of proved me. Jaden kind of proved me right the first year. But Drake Maye, I wasn't pre-draft. I told people whether we get Jaden or Drake, I'll be happy with either one. I prefer Jaden. Drake Maye did did really well for the most part. He flashed in a couple games where he flashed in the Jet game, the second Jet game, because the first one he didn't play in. He didn't finish that game because I think he was concussed that game, so he didn't.
They said he was concussed and they didn't want to put him back in. Right.
Yeah, so he flashed in that game. He flashed in the Texans game, which that was the first game that he started. We did get killed in that game. I think we lost by 20, but that was the first real start of his. And he really flashed in that game. He flashed in the Colts game as well. That was another game that we didn't win. He flashed in the first Buffalo game.
Yeah, he did.
mistakes that he made, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, it was a pretty much good. And I'm trying to think, was there any other game that he flashed? I think it was the Titans game as well. The Titans game where we were behind, he took us on a game time drive to end regulation. And then we lost it. And I mean, like overtime. I mean, like those are the games that really showed me that this kid might actually be really good.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, like the only thing I think that he really need to work on is pretty much the turnovers. I think he threw he threw 10 picks. He had 4 fumbles, 2 that he lost. And I mean, like, you know, in the course of playing 12, 13 games, that's not terrible. But it's just the fact that like he's just got some things that he's gonna need to work on, and you know, in terms of turnovers, because our offense isn't like super explosive. I mean, we don't have a lot of playmakers. And so in football, when you don't have a lot of playmakers, your O-line's kind of shaky. You kind of got to take care of the ball. So.
Right, for sure. Now, staying on last season, the Patriots finished last in the division. There was rookie quarterback. Was that your expectations for the Patriots?
I mean, so like going back to last year, like so I mean, so I don't say I'm one of the few, but like I had the Bills finishing first. That's what I had. And then I had the Dolphins in second and the Jets in third and us in last. Like I anticipated us being in last place. Because I was just looking at like the Dolphins, like I expected them to finish in second. The Jets, they had Aaron Rodgers. I wasn't never high on that move, but I knew that they would still be a better team than us. So that's just what I figured. And so I expect us to be in last. I didn't expect us to only win 4 games. Like I more saw us getting 6 wins.
I thought you guys would get 6 at least.
Yeah,
because you had a veteran quarterback there too. You had
and Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett. Didn't he get hurt?
Yeah, I mean, he got hurt, but he never left the games really. I mean, like the one game that he left was the first. I believe it was the first Jets game, but like we were getting killed so bad that they just put Drake in the game, and like I think it was like the last 2 drives of the game. So he never really got hurt. I just think the coaching staff just got fed up with him in terms of like he's not a risk taker.
Yeah, he's not.
And so
he's a check down. He's a check down guy.
Yeah. So we weren't scoring a lot of points. He wasn't stretching the ball down the field. And it was making it hard for us to run the ball. And he's also a statue. So I mean we did draft Drake 3rd overall. So at some point we all knew that Drake was going to get in the game, and that's something kind of what happened. So but
let me ask you, this is not on one of the dockets, but so the quarterback you drafted after Drake was
Joe Milton.
Let him go. Now, between those two, would have had Milton, or would you been good? I mean, you're good with Drake right now. Those two? Which one did you like? Did you like Drake or did you like Milton?
Like, so a little bit of backstory. Like, I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan too, so I don't watch a lot of Joe Milton. So I don't like Joe Milton. To me, like his main problem to me is like short to medium throws. Like you know, I mean, he can throw the ball really hard. He can throw it really far. But I think his downfall is going to be those short to medium throws that he's not consistent with.
Like Josh Allen when he first came in.
Yeah, but I feel like Josh Allen was better when he came in than Joe Milton. I don't even think it's really that close. Like Joe, to me, I think the only reason why we drafted Joe in the first place is because of Gerard Mayo, because Gerard Mayo went to Tennessee. Joe Milton went to Tennessee.
Gotcha.
So other than that, I think that's the only really reason why we drafted him, because there wasn't, we drafted Drake Maye, we had Jacoby Brissett. There wasn't really a reason to really draft Joe Milton, and I believe we drafted him in the 6th round. And it's kind of ironic because the pick that we got for trading Mac Jones, that's the pick that we used to draft Joe Milton with. It's a little bit of backstory. So yeah, like Joe to me, we traded him to like the Cowboys. I don't know why the Cowboys wanted to trade for him. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me because they got Dak coming back. They had Cooper Rush, who they let go, which I didn't really get that because he's a capable backup. If I'm them, I would want to keep him, but they let him go to Baltimore. So I guess
is that where he went? Oh, I didn't know he went there. Okay.
Yeah, he went there for maybe 4 or 5 million a year for 2 years. It wasn't a bad deal. But even the Ravens, like I didn't even understand that because Lamar and Cooper Rush are not the same kind of quarterback. So I don't know.
Not at all. Not at all. Keep it on a quarterback. What do you want to see from Drake in his second season?
So like Drake's numbers, if you look at his stats, like I believe he had he believe in 13 games he had over 2,000 yards passing. He had 15 touchdowns and 10 picks. I think rushing the ball, I think he had like 400 or 500 yards. So in the course of a 17 game season, going into his sophomore season, I mean, I'm expecting similar numbers, like maybe somewhere around 3,000 yards. Obviously more touchdowns because of like the team that he has around him now. But I also expect him, I mean, like deep ball is his specialty. Like he's really good at throwing the ball deep. So there's no real concern there. For me, it's just like the short to like medium throws. Like he's just got to be, he makes those throws. It's just like the consistency has just got to get better. I mean, like sometimes he like air mails like outs and I mean slants sometimes, and I mean outs. It's not. I mean, like that's obviously whether you're throwing a slant or out like that's an issue. But especially with a slant, like if we're running a slant over the middle and you just air mail it, like the safety is going to pick that off like 9 times out of 10. So it's just more for him. It's just like more consistency. I mean, I think he got sacked around 30 times, which wasn't really crazy. And I mean, partly the reason for that are I mean his legs. I mean, like his ability to run the football as well. So I would want him to continue that, and I mean, like run the ball where you can. And I mean, for him running the football, it's kind of, I don't say it's a question, but like he's got to learn when the journey is over.
Right.
Because in the Jets game, that's when he got concussed. Like he was trying to get more yards. And not just the Jets game, but I mean even the Titans game, and I mean like some other games when he's running, he takes a lot. He takes a good amount of hits. And I mean he's not like Josh Allen. He's not built like Josh Allen.
No,
he's not built thick like him. So
right.
So I mean, so the situation where sometimes like when you're running the ball and you don't feel like you can get any more yards, like you just you don't
gotta
have to
slide.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, like try to go out of bounds. I mean, like so. I mean, that's something that he's got to work on. But I mean, he's got a lot more help. I mean, from the Patriots in terms of the offensive line, the running backs, and the wide receivers. So I mean, he should have a better season.
Okay. Well, speaking of new pieces that you talked about, the Patriots have acquired a lot. You have a new head coach now. Josh McDaniels is back as OC. Give me your thoughts on your new coaches. Familiar faces.
Yeah, I mean, Vrabel, I'm gonna be real candid with this. He wasn't my first choice. Like most of the fan base wanted Ben Johnson. Like that's just that's who we wanted because like we've been rolling with a defensive head coach. I mean, like Parcells was in the mid-90s was a defensive coach. I mean, Pete Carroll was a defensive coach who we had for 3 years. Then obviously we got Bill Belichick for like a good 20 plus years as a defensive coach. We got Gerard as a defensive coach. So a lot of families is like, wow, we need to go on the other side of the ball offensively because my thing is with defensive coaches. I mean, I love a defensive coach, but the problem is whoever's running your offense, if they do a great job, they're not going to be there. So you got to keep replacing like the OC and keep replacing them. But yeah, like I said, like Ben was my first choice. Vrabel was like my second choice. I mean, like I think he's a really good coach. Like, I have no beef for Vrabel as a head coach. I think he did really well in Tennessee for what he had. I mean, his quarterback was Tannehill, and I mean, like he had Derrick Henry, and I mean, like he had AJ Brown for a couple of years. So I mean, he's proven that he can coach up teams. I mean, because let's just face it, the Titans weren't like super talented. I mean, but he got into the playoffs a bunch of them years. Josh McDaniels is like a blast from the past. Like it's kind of like for me, it's like 50-50. Like I mean, he's really good with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And so we have a really young quarterback that needs to be developed. And I mean, he did a really good job with Tom. And I mean, like he did a good job with Mac Jones. I mean, like the only year that he coached him, his rookie year. So I mean, there's that aspect of it. But from the play calling aspect, I mean, he's probably the best play calling offensive coordinator that we've had. I mean, since Josh left, in what was it, 2022, I believe, 21 or 22. I mean, like we had the whole Joe Judge experiment thing, which was ludicrous. And Alex Van Pelt last year. So I mean, he's the best play caller. My only issue with Josh is he loves to throw screens. And I mean, for me, it's like I said, I'm a Georgia fan. Like, so my OC out there, he throws a lot of screens. So I mean, like I feel like these guys on the weekends during football season are going to screen me to death. And so, I mean, so it's like it's one of those situations where we have Drake Maye, like he can make every throw on the field. So I just hope that Josh takes that into consideration. That say, hey, like we don't necessarily need to throw the ball short every single time. Like, you know, I mean,
Right.
I want to utilize Drake's skills, and I mean, all his skills are
Mm-hmm.
like I just said, he can make every throw. So I'm just hoping that he, you know, I mean, like he designs the offense that way. So.
I mean, you could see the frustration when it came to Mac Jones, how frustrated he was when it came to not allowing him to do certain things. And I know it wasn't Josh McDaniel at that time because, like you said, Josh had left. He only coached him for a year, right?
Yep, that's right.
And then after that, you could see the frustration with Mac Jones. And not that I thought Mac Jones was a great quarterback, but I mean, also thought that he didn't get the right people behind him to show what he could do, you know, but you know, there's no here nor there, but yeah.
Well, just touch on that. Like the thing with Mac is like you know, I mean, like I viewed him like a Brock. I'm not like, and let me preface it, I'm not saying he's as good as Brock Purdy. He's like a Brock Purdy. Like you got to have weapons around him. Like he's got to be like a point guard. That's I mean that's what he's best at. And we just didn't have the team for that. And I mean, I didn't want to draft Mac in the first place. So.
Yeah, okay, got you. This offseason, the Patriots went big time hunting. And one of the big fish you guys got was Stefon Diggs. Do you like this move? And how do you see the Patriots using him?
I mean, I like the move from an aspect of we didn't have a number one guy. You know, I mean, like we were in the market to trade for T. Higgins. That didn't happen. We were in the market to sign the guy from Tampa Bay.
Yes.
His name escaped me right now. Godwin.
Oh my God, Godwin. Yes,
Godwin. So we're in the market for that, but then
I was giving him some money too.
Yeah, I mean,
and he turned it down.
Yeah, I mean, like the reports were $30 million, but that was obviously before free agency, and you know, I mean, the Bucs signed him before free agency. So I mean, we were trying to upgrade our wide receiver room to begin with. And it didn't really happen. And you know, I mean, like, so Diggs to me, like the thing I understand about the Patriots wide receiver room is really young. I mean, like we got a lot of young guys. I think the oldest guys like Kendrick Bourne. So I mean, like last year we drafted Polk and we drafted Baker, and then this year we drafted Kyle Williams. So we needed a guy, like a veteran guy that can kind of mentor these guys. And I mean, like Diggs is Diggs is good for that in the system that we're going to run because he's good. And I mean, like all sorts of purposes. I mean, other than like, you know, I mean, Hunter Henry and Mondre Stevenson and I mean Travion Henderson, he gonna get a lot of targets. Like he gonna get the ball a lot. So
they said they're gonna be using him like Edelman.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what's gonna happen because I mean the thing is, I mean, like with Josh McDaniels coming back, like, you know, I mean our old offense was a lot of like choice routes. And I just think that fits Diggs well because I mean Diggs can read a defense really well.
Yeah, he can.
So I think that's going to fit his game really well. I mean, from the reports that I've seen, he's been working out a lot. He's been in the playbook, and I can see that. Like, the one good thing about the Patriots is, you know, I mean, like, you know, we have guys that can attack different parts of the field. And so I think for Diggs, it's going to make his job a lot easier. And for me, like I said in the beginning, like for me, like Diggs is what I want Diggs to do is just to kind of build in that like work ethic to, you know, to the guys like Jalen Polk and, you know, Javon Baker and you know, Kyle Williams, like the guys that really only been in the league for like a year or two, like, you know.
And he will do that because I'll give him that. Like he's a workaholic. He will do that. He will put those guys underneath his wing like he did with Shakir. Like he will definitely teach those guys how to be a professional, you know, player on the field. Off the field, it's none of my business, but on the field, he's definitely going to be that locked in wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean that, like, yeah, like, you know, I mean in the facility, I'm great with Diggs. I mean when it's time, when it's not work time, then that's, I mean, like I saw it with the Bills. I mean, I didn't really hear too much about what, you know, what I mean, you know, like the Texans. I mean, like, you know, I mean, like even though Houston's a really big city, and it's a city where you can pretty much find a party, you know, I mean, like, you know, I mean, like, you're looking for it. So I mean, like Boston's, like I said earlier, like Boston's a smaller city, but like if you want to find stuff to do, you know, I mean, you can find stuff to do. So I mean, like I said, like on field, I'm not worried about it. Off the field, kind of does concern me a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the Patriots defense, they're known for a good defense, but you had some issues getting to the quarterback last year. Talk to me about your defense this year and what one solid player or players do you like that you guys picked up?
So, like, just touching back on the defense last year, like, defensively, like, a lot of the fan base went into the season thinking, like, we were going to be a good unit because we were a good unit the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, Bill did get fired, but, I mean, like, Drake Maye was under him. So we figured, like, most of us figured, like, yeah, I mean, we'll probably, I mean, we won't be as good, but, I mean, we'll take a step back. Now, we took more than a step back. I mean, like, I believe the stats broke down, like, a passing yard, like in passing yards, we were like 22nd in the league. Rushing yards, we were 22nd in the league, and like we just could not stop the run. Like that was a main problem. And it was really like I believe it was either the first or second Miami game where like Miami just ran the same running play like 11 times.
Yeah, same play.
Yeah. I mean, like same play, and I mean it's like it's a myriad of issues for us last year. I'm like Barmer was coming off blood clots. So he didn't start the season, and then he returned midway through the season, and then he went out again. So yeah, that aspect of it, and then you touched on it, like we just don't have a lot of edge rushers, so we weren't getting to the quarterback. Like we had traded Judon before the season, and I believe midway through it was either the previous year or during the season, like we traded Josh Uche to the Chiefs. I think it was middle of last season or whatever. And so, like, we just did not have a premier edge rusher, and, like, the scheme wasn't there to scheme it up to get there. So, I mean, the quarterback was just sitting back there. And, I mean, like, we have Gonzo, who I mean, some consider, like, to be one of the rising stars as a cornerback, which I believe, too. But the fact is, like, we literally had one boundary corner, and we didn't have a pass rush, and we couldn't stop the run. Right. So, I mean, when you mix all that stuff together, it's just not a good situation to be in. I mean, if you're trying to actually make stops and actually trying to win games. So I mean, like some of the pickups that I liked, I'll start in the secondary, like Carlton Davis, who we signed from the Lions. He's going to be playing CB2. So I mean, to put him next to Gonzo, it's going to be interesting because I think with him there, like to me, he's like a risk taker. I mean, so we go one way or the other. I mean, but I mean, like transparency, like I actually want to sign DJ Reed, and it's funny. Because we signed Carlton Davis and then DJ Reed went to the line, so which is
I know that was so weird, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping you guys didn't get DJ Reed, to be quite honest. I like DJ Reed, I do.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and it wasn't just me. I mean, not just in my fan base, but just in general. Like, if you talk to a lot of football people, like they love DJ Reed. I mean, some people even think that he's better than Sauce. I mean, I don't. I mean, I honestly think that, but I mean, like he's, I mean, like he had stints, in certain games that he did play better.
I think when it came to DJ Reed, I think he's a willing tackler, where Sauce isn't. So so I guess that's where people are like, well, if you got to be a willing tackler, if you're going to be, and I also believe that Sauce, we all getting on to the Jets a little bit. Sauce had a down year, and I think people seeing that he wasn't willing enough to tackle, and they went after him because he wasn't. So yeah,
that's true. So that's the secondary part of the moves that I like. I mean, like linebackers, like a lot of people right now are saying that we have one of the better linebacking cores in the AFC. Which, I mean, I want to go with it, but I ain't really seen these guys. So, I mean, the two pickups that we really had that I really like was like Spillane, who, I mean, came from the Raiders. Like, he's really good. He's really good against the run. He's really good at like going downhill. And, I mean, that's where Vrabel's going to ask of his linebackers just to flow, flow down. So, I think he can have a pretty big impact. And then on the lines, I mean, pretty much like the only edge rusher that we really have is, I mean, like Landry. So, like, we're dependent on him to be very impactful because outside of him, we don't really have any edge rushers. Like, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, we did sign Kason from the Raiders too. I mean, like he's like a situational pass rusher. So I think he had like 5 or 6 sacks last year. So it just depends how the coaching staff is going to use him. So I'm not really sure on him. And then like the D line, obviously, like we signed Milton Williams from the Eagles. I mean, he had an incredible Super Bowl. And so like when you pair him with, I mean, Christian Barmore, because Christian's been going through, training camp, mini camps, and he's expected to be healthy. So I think when you put those two guys together, and then I think we signed this guy named Tonga from the Cardinals. Like he's going to be our nose. So I mean, he's going to be our guy that we are dependent on to actually stop the run. So I mean, when you couple all those pieces together, I mean, what I'm looking at is I'm hoping that we're back being a good defensive team. Like I'm hoping that we're like a top 15 defense. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for.
I like Landry. I went Landry maybe like 2-3 years ago for the Bills because when they brought over Daquan Jones, played for the Titans, and I wanted Landry, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. But I just love how Landry plays. He's a real hard-nosed ass player, so I really wanted him on our team. But switching over to the offensive side of the ball, the Patriots O-line was shaky last year, like we talked about. How confident are you this year in your O-line?
I mean, shaky is putting it lightly. To you, like that's lightly. I mean, like I said, we were the worst. If we weren't the worst, we were 31st in passing run block. Like it was pretty bad. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. So I mean, like we also have a very young offensive line. So I mean, like last year, like I think we drafted like 2 or 3 guys. I mean, like we had drafted a guy out of Texas A&M to play guard. Can I remember his name right now, top of my head? I'm not sure if it wasn't Henderson, but it was actually Layden Robinson. So in spurts he was good. I mean, certain games he was really good. Certain games he was so. And then we also drafted a right tackle who just was not healthy. And so I think that's what kind of led to us signing Morgan Moses from the Jets. And I mean, like Morgan is on the older side. I'm not expecting him to be here for 4 or 5 years. I mean, from what I've heard from him in his press conferences and just him talking, like it seems like he's going to be the leader for our like offensive line. And so we drafted Will Campbell, who's obviously like he's he's going to be another young player. I mean, Cole Strange, who we drafted 3 years ago, going into his 4th year. I mean, he's coming back off of like I think it was like a patella injury, like he didn't play all year last year. So I believe like Morgan, I look at a guy that he's going to lead that room. Like I'm not saying he's going to be like an all-pro right tackle or something like that. That's not where I think he's going to be impactful. But I think he's going to be impactful. It's kind of like a Diggs situation where I mean, like he's going to bring our guys along and kind of like actually like show them how to be like a professional lineman. So I mean, I think he's going to have a pretty good impact. They also brought in the center from the Vikings. I think his name is Bradbury. I'm not high on him. Like what I seen from him last year, he's not good in pass protection. I mean, his like anchor's not that good, not really that good in run defense. I mean, but I think they brought him in just for the fact that they're going to want him to start at center. I mean, because we drafted a kid out of Georgia who's a center/guard. I think his name is Jarrett Wilson. So I think they're prepping him to either be a guard or a center. So I think he's kind of there just to learn for right now. And then I mean, like when it's time for him to get in the game, I believe that's what's going to happen. I mean, obviously, like we drafted Travion Henderson in the 2nd round. I mean, like a running back that a lot of people liked.
Yes.
I mean, he's really good in pass protection. He's got a lot of top end speed. And then I think the reason why they brought him in is like Mondre. Like I love Mondre to death. Like, and I mean, we just signed him a couple years ago, but I think Mondre's issue is fumbling the ball, and I think that comes from too much volume. So I mean, like I think I like drafted him. Like so we have Mondre in that room. We have Travion Henderson in that room, and like we also have Antonio Gibson. I mean, who had the previous year. Like I think when you add all 3 of those guys together, like Mondre won't have to play as much, and therefore I'm hoping that his fumbles will go down.
Right.
Because like the last 2 years, he's a very dynamic running back. Right? I mean, he can do a lot of different things, but I mean, fumbling is an issue. And I mean, like, the way that the Patriots were not talented on that side of the ball, and we're still not the most talented team in the league on offense. So, I mean, like, we have to be able to, it's not just from like Drake Maye, but it's also from the tight ends, the wide receivers, and the running backs not to turn over the football. So, I mean, we're getting Travion. I'm hoping that like kind of kills his like high volume, I mean, game to game. And so I mean, his fumbles will go down as well. And then the last guy on offense I probably would say is like Kyle Williams. Like he's another guy that we drafted 3rd round. I mean, like a lot of guys were high on him. I wanted to draft Noel, but they passed on Noel to get Kyle Williams. And so like what I seen from him in the tape after the draft, and like I'm like the mini camps, I've kind of like what I saw. So I just kind of got to see that in training camp and kind of see where he's going to fall in terms of how much playing time that he's actually going to get.
I think it's so ironic that you guys have a Kyle Williams and we had a Kyle Williams that retired. That's just so crazy to me. So your GM, Wolf.
Yep.
Do you see him back next year? Because I'm seeing some conflicting stories where If he doesn't get it done, he's gone. And talk to me about your GM.
Yeah, it's a little shaky, man, because like just the backstory for people that don't know, like the Patriots don't really ever name someone a GM. Like he's like our de facto, like he's not even like that's not even his title. Like so it's never been that way. Like over the last 25 years, we've never had someone that hold the title of GM. Like it'd always be like, like director of player personnel or something like that.
Right.
So I mean, when you look at the drafts, and it's kind of it's hard because it's like the one draft that he was responsible for in 24. I mean, if you take Drake Maye and Joe Milton out that draft, the draft wasn't that good. I mean, for guys like Jalen Polk who his main strength coming into the league was his hands, he couldn't catch. Baker just did not see the field. I mentioned Layden Robinson earlier. I mean, he was good in some games. In some games, he was okay. I mean, like, and we also drafted a right tackle in the previous year who just got injured a lot. He wasn't on the field, so we don't even really know what he could be. So, and then when you look at the 25 draft, everybody loved the draft, but the problem is Mike Vrabel brought one of his guys into the front office, so it's really hard to know.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, yeah, I mean, so it's like I said, like it's hard to know. Like it's a give and take. Like I don't know if all the guys we drafted this year were, like those were Will picks or like those were Vrabel, like the guy that he brought in the front office. So as of right now, I mean, I can only go off of what I mean, like my owner saying and Kraft and like I mean everything they're saying is he's going to be there. Now, what his role is going to be, like I still don't believe in, I mean, my heart of hearts, like he's got the final say. Like I think he's got input.
Right.
But I don't think he's making the decision because I don't think Mike Vrabel would have came into a situation where he don't have a final say.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the kind of guy he is. So, but I mean, I think Wolf was going to be there, but it's just a question of like, what is his role going to be?
Okay. I hear that. I hear that. Last question. Where do you see the Patriots finishing and do you have a record for them?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Floor for me is 7 games, ceiling is 10. I mean, and when I say ceiling, like, if everything in the world go right, I think we can win 10 games. And part of the reason I think that is because of the schedule. Like, I mean, our schedule was a lot harder last year, than it was this year. Our coaching is definitely better. I mean, like the roster, offense, defense, special teams is better. I mean, pretty much everybody's saying that. I mean, some people even expect us to finish second in the division because obviously, like, I mean, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat, like, the Bills are going to win the division. Like, unless something dramatically goes wrong with the Bills, like, they should win the division. So it's pretty much the way I feel is, like, we're going to be battling with the Dolphins for second. And whether that means they're possibly being like, playoff contention, maybe, possibly. But I mean, the Patriots got a lot of things to work on both sides of the ball. Like I said earlier, like, defensively, they got to work on stopping the run. And we have a concrete, cornerback one in Gonzo, and I mean he's he made like second team last year, so all pro. So I don't see him slowing down at all. So I think we'll be fine there. Like our linebacking core, like a lot of people think it's going to be a lot better. Like it's
better,
like people say it's going to be one of the top units in the AFC. And so I mean offensively, it kind of falls on Drake Maye. Like he's going into a second year. He started a lot of games last year. He's gonna not need to fall into that sophomore slump thing that like some of these quarterbacks go through. He's gonna need to elevate the talent, from the wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. And I mean, if he can do all, I mean, if all the things that I say can happen, and I mean, like Vrabel coaches like he can coach, I mean, I don't see why we cannot win between 7 to 10 games.
You know what it is for me. I say that you guys are going to finish second, and I know everybody is saying if Tua is healthy, that's their position. I think for me, it's your coaching in Mayo, like Drake Maye. My bad. I don't know. That confuses me when they both were there. Drake Maye. I think it's like you said, it's all on the development of him, your quarterback. Can he take that next step? Because it's on him. Like, yes, you surrounded him again with Stefon Diggs, a playmaker. If you could just drop that down to him, short, intermediate, in the field, he could be the golden guy. Ask Josh Allen. He did it for Diggs. That was the whole debate. Did Josh Allen make Diggs or Diggs make Josh Allen? who gives a hell as long as they elevated each other? And I think that's what Drake Diggs is going to do for Drake. And I can't wait to see it, but I can wait to see it because I don't want them to have a successful season, but I think he's a dog. I really think that Drake is a dog. Like you said, he can throw that rock all over the field. And we seen it the last game we played you guys, even though it was, what it was, but you seen the talent there for sure. Like he has that talent.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, like I think it's the Bills division. I mean, until someone can really challenge them. Like I think my team is a year or two away. I mean, to be honest, like this year, like we could take that step to like I said, win between 7-10 games. Like I mean, it's a good step to take, but like realistically, I don't really see us contending for the division. Like I said, at least for another year or two. Like I think it's just going to take some time, like because the roster was, like Belichick left the roster so bare that like we're having to have to rebuild the roster and like build up the talent levels on multiple positions of the roster. So I just don't. I mean, I could be a delusional Patriot fan and say, oh yeah. I mean, we're gonna challenge the Bills this year, but I just don't. I don't see that. Like I think the Bills with the roster that they have, schedule that they have, like I mean, to be honest, like the Bills can win between 13 and 15 games if you look at that schedule.
Right.
There's no way that us or the Dolphins are going to be able to win that many games. I
just hold my breath every time. So, I mean, I do have a prediction, but I just like if Josh goes, that's our team, So and that's what any great quarterback. If your quarterback goes down, that's your season. But yeah, you know what? Tell everybody where they can find you and what's going on with you.
You can find me on Twitter, JMIK. You can find me on Instagram, same tag, JMIK, JMick. I also got a podcast with like my crew of guys on Saturdays at 11 a.m. It's called The Check Down. It's with me, Smitty, Pop, and Certified. And I got another podcast coming. It should be starting when the season starts. It's going to be on Thursday nights. It's going to be with Deuce, who's a Commanders fan. I think it's called End of the Lab. So I'm doing that. It's going to be my first year. I'm doing that with them. And I mean, like I said earlier, like I'm always in spaces. I mean, I'm in my own team spaces. I'm in the general spaces. I'm in the Bill spaces, the Jet spaces. So yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. So
yeah, love that. I love that. For sure. Thank you again, J-Mix, for coming on. I appreciate it. And we got to do something during the season because, we're going to play each other twice. So we got to discuss, what we're seeing for sure. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am T. I'm your girl. This is Not Your Average Podcast in the 716. We are on the Building Buffalo Network. And it's always, and I know he's not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. Go Bills, y'all. Peace out.